The unemployment rates for the Lehigh Valley were released this week. September's rate was down from August. This means more people are entering or re-entering the workforce. With that, we have a special guest today to tell us the best ways to get ahead. WFMZ's Eve Tannery is with former Marine and author of the new book, No Yelling, Wally Adamchik. Eve.
Yeah, Hasiel, good morning. Something everybody wants to know, obviously, the best ways to get ahead. Well, now we can find them out by reading Wally's new book called No Yelling. Wally, good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning.
I know you've had quite an accomplished career, 10 years in the military, and now an accomplished author as of last month. Tell us a little bit about what piqued your interest in writing.
Well, after 10 years in the Marines, and I got my MBA from the University of North Carolina, and I got into the consulting world and was doing a lot of work with businesses about business management, and their questions were all about how do we help our people become more productive, leadership, essentially. And I talked to them about it, and they told me, they said, you need to write a book.
Yeah, and tell us a little bit about how you structured your book. What did you do to develop it?
Well, No Yelling details the essential behaviors of leadership that help you become productive on the job. And my belief, and as I've looked around, reading a book about the Battle of Gettysburg, although interesting, is not going to make you more effective on the job.
Right.
So I interviewed 100 people, 50 Marines on active duty, 50 in the civilian sector, former Marines in the civilian sector, and said, what's leadership? How do you succeed? And their stories are in the book. So you see a Marine example and a civilian example right next to each other. And I think that makes it attainable for people. They can understand it and say, I can do that.
Yeah. And how long did it take to put it all together, and what was the best part of that journey?
Well, it was probably about a 2-year process from pen to paper to book in hand. And the best part about it was that my beliefs were validated and confirmed by these 100 people.
Yeah. What did being in the military, now it's so much a part of your life because you're going around the country speaking about this book, what did it bring to your life? What did it mean to you to be in the military?
Well, traveling all over the world, I learned what a great nation we do live in. We might have some issues, but it's the greatest nation on the face of the earth. But personally, I learned confidence. I learned that I can handle just about any challenge that you throw at me. And these are the things that any person coming out of the military, any branch of service, has learned and brings to the workplace.
Yeah, and something, Wally, that's obviously been all over the news this week have been Senator Kerry's controversial comments about the importance of education or else you will, quote, end up in Iraq. And he is a former military man himself.
Yes.
How did that sit with you?
Well, my initial reaction, it didn't sit well, of course, but of course Senator Kerry did serve. And if you look at the scores and the aptitudes of people on active duty, it's not an uneducated workforce.
Right.
In fact, you need to be smart to get in, and that's the nature of the military these days.
And what do you hope people learn about the military from reading your book?
Well, the title is a little counterintuitive, no yelling, but the reality is for us to have a productive workplace, it's based on trust and respect and confidence, and yelling at people is not an effective way to get positive results.
So we've been telling people that we tell them all morning long, just how do you get ahead at work?
Well, as a friend of mine once said, you got to pick up the shovel and do the work. It's first thing, do your job. Be reliable. Become a go-to person for that employer, and they will give you more opportunities and for you to continue to excel.
It's basically the more you give, the more you get.
It really is true.
Yeah. And right now, the best place to get the book is online, you said.
It is, but, go to noyelling.net and preview the book. I mean, there's excerpts from every chapter at noyelling.net.
Great, Wally. Well, thanks so much. And coming up in our next half hour, Hasiel, Wally's going to tell us a little bit more about his personal experience as well as a lot more leadership tips. It's a pretty thick book, so we have a lot more to tell you coming up in our next half hour.